My dad was just of that generation where it's just like, he was Clint Eastwood, less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
Imagine a casual afternoon chat between friends, maybe over coffee, tossing around ideas for a movie. Sounds pretty laid back, right? Now picture that same chat suddenly exploding into a full-blown legal emergency, conference calls with lawyers, and accusations flying across Hollywood. That's exactly what happened to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and it all started with a simple brainstorming session about the next Deadpool film. What began as creative collaboration quickly spiraled into a chaotic legal battle, threatening to derail one of the most anticipated superhero movies in years. But this wasn't just a simple disagreement. It spiraled into something far more complex, involving a third party and accusations of betrayal in the secretive world of Hollywood scripts.
About a month ago, this really hit home with me too. About a month ago, I was sitting in traffic and I was just like jamming These Dreams by heart. I was killing it in the car. And there was just this busload of high school kids that were parked right beside me. I didn't even realize. I looked over and every one of their jaws were just on the ground laughing their friggin' guts out at me.
The name Justin Baldoni might not immediately scream Deadpool to most people. He's better known for roles in heartfelt dramas, movies that tug at your tear ducts, not ones filled with katana-wielding anti-heroes and fourth wall breaks. So, when rumors started swirling that Baldoni was somehow connected to the new Deadpool movie, and even potentially a Marvel project, it raised eyebrows. Hollywood's rumor mill is always churning, linking actors to potential superhero cameos and spin-offs, but this felt different. Why would Baldoni, a star known for emotional depth and sincerity, be mixed up in the chaotic, comedic world of Deadpool? It was an odd pairing, like peanut butter and pickles, intriguing, maybe even a little bizarre, but the whispers grew louder, hinting that Baldoni wasn't just in the periphery, he was somehow in possession of something valuable, something related to the highly guarded Deadpool script. Justin Baldoni, known for tearjerkers, suddenly in the Deadpool universe? Something didn't add up, and as it turned out, this wasn't just a casting rumor, it was the beginning of a leak that would ignite a legal firestorm.
Well, that is also accurate and weirdly high praise as well. It was just one of those. It felt like a live-action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face.
Yes.
There was almost no blood at all. I think I got a little paper cut on the movie. That was about it. And something that my kids can watch, but also as a parent, too, you want the parents need to get punched right in the heart as well.
But the rumors didn't stay whispers for long. Baldoni himself started adding fuel to the fire, dropping hints online that sent the internet into overdrive. He began subtly teasing that he'd gotten his hands on some brand new Deadpool material. Now, in the age of social media, actors often playfully engage with fan theories and casting speculations, but Baldoni's hints felt different. They weren't just playful teases, they carried a weight of implication, suggesting he knew more than he was letting on. Almost overnight, fan forums and social media exploded. How did Justin Baldoni, of all people, end up with Deadpool secrets? Was he secretly cast in the movie? Was he involved behind the scenes? Countless theories emerged, ranging from wild cameos to even wilder plot predictions. The online speculation became a frenzy, with fans dissecting every cryptic post and interview snippet from Baldoni, desperate for clues. It was clear this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill Hollywood gossip. Something significant was unfolding. Online hints turned into online hysteria as Baldoni teased Deadpool secrets, and the carefully constructed walls around the Deadpool production began to feel a little less secure.
I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not it's not just like hey, there's the person and we move on. It's they're there for a reason.
Yeah. And you said it just earlier, but I wanted to go back on that. You think that this might be the greatest film that you've...
Look, most of the time when the movie is this much fun to make, you up bad.
However, it wasn't just Reynolds who was seeing red. Hugh Jackman's return as Wolverine was a huge deal, and he had very specific ideas about how this comeback should play out. For years, Jackman had hung up the claws, seemingly done with the Wolverine role after the poignant finale of Logan. So when he agreed to return for Deadpool 3, it wasn't just a simple cameo for a paycheck. It was a carefully considered decision driven by the promise of exploring the dynamic between Wolverine and Deadpool in all its irreverent, boundary-pushing glory. story. Jackman wasn't just stepping back into the suit, he was stepping back in to ensure a certain kind of film, one that honored the R-rated comedic anarchy that Deadpool represented. But the alleged script leaks hinted at something different, a more sanitized, perhaps even inspirational tone creeping into the storyline. For Jackman, this wasn't just a minor plot point, it was a potential betrayal of the very essence of what made Deadpool special, and what made his return as Wolverine so exciting in the first place. Wolverine wasn't just back, he was ready to fight for Deadpool's soul, and this leak felt like the opening shot of a battle he couldn't ignore. And overseeing all of this corporate drama was Disney, a giant already navigating tricky waters with its acquisition of Deadpool. When Disney absorbed Fox, bringing Deadpool into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it wasn't a seamless fit. Deadpool, with his fourth wall breaks, hyper-violence, and adult humor, was a stark contrast to Disney's generally family-friendly brand. Even Disney CEO Bob Iger had publicly acknowledged this, hinting that Deadpool might require a unique approach within the MCU. Disney was essentially walking a tightrope, trying to integrate this wildly popular but decidedly un-Disney character into their carefully curated universe without diluting either brand. They knew part of Deadpool's massive appeal was his edgy, rule-breaking comedy, something that set him apart from typical superhero fare. But with a bigger budget and the pressure of MCU crossovers looming, there were undoubtedly internal discussions about how much edge was too much. Then came the script leak, and on top of that, the very public and very aggressive countersuit. Disney was already walking a tightrope with Deadpool, and then the leak detonated, turning a delicate balancing act into a potential PR and creative crisis. They now had to contend not only with the creative direction of the film, but also a very public legal battle threatening to overshadow everything.
And I'm really excited. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I sort of want to. Really, I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long. But I really want to work with people that are either immensely talented or people that I love and that I'm genuinely like best friends with. And unfortunately, Hugh does not qualify as either of those. But I am excited because I'm a Logan fan. So. And then that covers Will Ferrell as well. That's a guy that my entire life I feel.
But instead of quiet backroom deals, Reynolds and Jackman chose a different path, one that would send shockwaves through Hollywood. They didn't issue a vague denial or a carefully worded statement. They launched a countersuit against Justin Baldoni. In the secretive world of Hollywood, where image is everything and disputes are usually settled behind closed doors with NDAs and hushed negotiations, this was a nuclear option. Typically, when sensitive materials leak, studios prefer to minimize the fallout, contain the damage, and avoid drawing more attention to the situation. They might send strongly worded legal letters, threaten action, but rarely do they escalate to a public countersuit, especially involving A-list talent. Reynolds and Jackman, however, went all in. Industry insiders described the move as audacious, even unprecedented. This wasn't just about legal recourse, it was a statement. It was a very public declaration that Baldoni's alleged actions were not only damaging, but unacceptable. The decision to countersue, according to whispers from inside the industry, wasn't just born out of anger or frustration. It was a calculated, strategic move designed to protect the creative integrity of the Deadpool franchise and send a clear message. Mess with Deadpool and you'll face the full force of its defenders. Hollywood legal battles are common, but a countersuit by A-listers aimed squarely at another actor for script leaks. That's a mic drop moment that got everyone's attention. The countersuit instantly became the talk of the town, and fans naturally had a field day with it. Initial reactions ranged from shock, did this really just happen, to outright excitement. After all, this was Deadpool, a franchise practically built on chaos and unexpected twists. The line between reality and fiction often blurs in the Deadpool universe, so it wasn't long before a new theory started gaining traction. Was this whole thing a meta-marketing stunt? Could this elaborate legal drama be an ingenious fourth wall-breaking way to promote the movie itself? Fans pointed to Reynolds and Jackman's history of playful online feuds and viral marketing campaigns. They'd filmed mock fight videos, engaged in hilarious social media banter, and generally blurred the lines between their real and on-screen personas. So the idea that this countersuit was just another layer of meta commentary, a brilliant Deadpool-esque prank on the audience felt almost plausible. Social media lit up with jokes and memes, with fans speculating whether the courtroom scenes would even make it into the movie itself. However, the official word from both actors' representatives quickly poured cold water on the stunt theory. They insisted firmly that the legal action was very real and very serious. This wasn't a joke, it was a genuine legal battle with significant consequences. Fans went wild. Was this real drama or just the ultimate Deadpool prank? The question hung in the air, adding another layer of intrigue to an already bizarre situation.
Yeah. My relationship with my father, which was very complicated and difficult. My dad was a very, I come from a middle class, kind of blue collar home, and my dad was just of that generation where it's just like, he was Clint Eastwood, less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned about.
But Justin Baldoni wasn't about to take this lying down. He fired back, not with legal threats of his own, but with a carefully crafted narrative on his own platforms. He implied he'd done nothing wrong, suggesting he was acting entirely within his rights. Baldoni framed the so-called exposure of the script not as a leak, but as an act of creative transparency. He even hinted that the new direction teased in the leaked materials, a direction presumably leaning away from pure comedic mayhem, might actually benefit the Deadpool franchise in the long run. He suggested it could broaden the film's emotional appeal, making it resonate with a wider audience. For those familiar with Baldoni's work, known for championing heartfelt and emotionally driven stories, this framing wasn't entirely surprising. He seemed to genuinely believe he was offering a valuable, perhaps even necessary evolution for Deadpool. However, this perspective clashed head-on with the vision, fiercely defended by Reynolds and Jackman. For them, Deadpool's adult humor, his boundary-pushing style, and his irreverent chaos weren't just ingredients. They were the very foundation of the character's appeal. Baldoni might have believed he was expanding Deadpool's depth, adding layers of emotional resonance. But from Reynolds and Jackman's vantage point, and certainly from the perspective of the countersuit, he was meddling, venturing into creative territory that didn't belong to him and potentially diluting the very essence of Deadpool. Baldoni fired back, claiming creative vision, but was he missing the point of Deadpool entirely? At its heart, the entire Deadpool script leak saga boils down to one fundamental conflict: Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman drawing a line in the sand to protect the very DNA of Deadpool. They weren't just fighting over plot points or punchlines. They were battling to preserve the irreverent, chaotic, and unapologetically adult spirit that made Deadpool a global phenomenon in the first place. The countersuit against Justin Baldoni became a symbol of this fight, a bold and very public declaration that some lines simply cannot be crossed when it comes to this particular brand of cinematic mayhem. As lawyers exchanged briefs and headlines flashed across the internet, the ultimate outcome remained shrouded in uncertainty. Would the legal battle be swiftly resolved? Would it drag on, casting a shadow over the film's production? And perhaps most importantly, would the final version of Deadpool 3 retain the unhinged comedic energy that fans craved? Or would it be subtly, or not so subtly, nudged towards a more mainstream, emotionally resonant direction as hinted at by the leaked material? The questions swirling around Deadpool's future are as wild and unpredictable as the character himself. Will Deadpool emerge from this legal chaos stronger and funnier than ever, his DNA fiercely protected? Or has this unprecedented clash left an indelible mark, irrevocably altering the comedic code that made him so unique in the first place? Only time and the final cut of the film will tell.